안녕하세요. Hello and welcome to M2K Corner. I'm Em and I'll be doing a review today of the first 4 episodes of Doctor Slump. So this is a 12 rated new series about a female protagonist, Nam Han-yeol, and a male protagonist, Yo Jong-woo, and how they start off as rivals, become friends, and I'm assuming eventually love interests. Alongside this, we've got this fantastic storyline of malpractice, possibly, or maybe murder. I mean, we're not quite sure what's going on. Yo Jong-woo's practice has been kind of taken over by something that's happened with one of his patients, and she actually died during surgery. Alongside Nam Han-yeol, who has actually just quit her job because she's depressed. And you've got this is a great series. Actually, I'm really enjoying the storyline and how it's unfolding. Let's pick it apart a little bit. In the first episode, we've got a little bit of flashback, a little bit of forward, a little bit of what's going on. It's a little bit everywhere. It's a little bit too disjointed for me. I was not a fan of how fast the flashback went, and how it kind of just skipped back to the current time and didn't really give much away. That being said, throughout the next few episodes, I did see that they've chosen to do that incrementally, which actually ended up turning out working in the director's favour. I think I really quite enjoyed it in the end. So that's kind of how that unfolds from the beginning. There you see that they're rivals, and then they start to just kind of talk a little bit, but they're not friends yet. And this first episode was eye-catching from the beginning. It's got that first scene where you kind of, oh, what, is she dead? No. And then of course she's not. It's a K-drama, but it was interesting. It was a good way to grab the audience, and there's a lot of kind of twisting plots that do actually kind of grab your attention from the beginning, which I really like. One thing I wasn't a fan of from the first episode was that it appeared to be over glamorizing Korea's overworking. This young woman who used to study for, I think it was something like 17 hours a day, and was going through 7 pencils a day and eating dry coffee to keep herself going, was too much for me. I felt it was a little bit A, unrealistic, and B, it was glamorized. It was making her seem like she was this larger than life person who was so great because she did all this. I didn't like that. Dues, though, on the second episode and onward, there was this wonderful focus on mental health that really actually undid everything I felt at first. Although you've got that kind of impression from the first episode, on the second one and there onward, there's just this lovely, delicate approach to dealing with mental health and the issues that arise from it, and how Korean people maybe are still new about talking about their mental health, and it came across well. And it was sensitively dealt with. As a nurse, I think that was super well done. I'm really pleased to see that was addressed so delicately and thoughtfully. So that was a really great positive throughout the series for me. At that part, you start seeing her aunties come in. I wasn't a fan of, because they're kind of these two almost cartoony figures who are, they're mean, they're kind of underhanded, and they've got this kind of catty attitude. It was a little bit too much. They were kind of just a bit too paradoxical. They just need to tone it back slightly, just a little bit, bring it back in. Maybe less of the remarks, catty remarks, and more of maybe a little bit more two-faced would make this more believable, because it takes a lot of guts to come out with those things they're saying to her, and to be honest, it just doesn't strike my ear as real. I did really love his response back when he cut them back, though. Yo Jong-woo, when he cut them down by explaining all the plastic surgery they need. Now I've just watched all 4 episodes in one. I think that was the third one, but that was great. That was that was so funny. I do think overall maybe they could be a little bit less cartoony. Also, I noticed another thing that I'd kind of not a fan of, and that's the fact that the family aren't included enough. You know, I mean, Yodong-woo's family, they're not in it yet. You just see his mum at one stage. She's quite rude at the school. I assume that will be addressed later on. And you'll have some great episodes with, you know, whatever they did that was so wrong and why they're not included in his life now. There was a little bit of a phone call about how his mum was kind of making him feel bad for the way his practice had gone at the minute in this court case. So I suspect that later on that will be fully addressed. Hanu's family, however, it needs addressing in that they're not there enough. So although you've got several members of her family, they all seem to have a bit of a non-role. So it would be nice to give them a bit more of an active part and a reason for being there, rather than just have them sitting there and just throwing out the occasional bit of banter, you know? I like them. I'd like to see more of them, so I hope that as the season progresses, we can see a little bit more about her family and how they'll come into it. I think that would make this series just a little bit better. One positive about the whole of all of these episodes that I've seen so far is the stunning, absolutely gorgeous shots they've got. The scenery is fantastic. There's really gorgeous cherry trees with the blossoms coming down. There's cityscapes. There's the beach where you've got all those lovely waves coming in, and it's really well shot. I love the colour palette. Love how vibrant it is, you know, but it's not overdone. It's just nice. I really think that the scenery and the way it was shot is super, super aesthetically pleasing. So that is a really, really positive part of this series as it is, and I hope to see much more of it. You got some nice little things in the series that I've noticed so far. When he's coming back from his practice into his new area, for example, there's got a little crack on the medical license on the glass that goes in front of it. Little things like that. It looks real. His expression was good. He carried it off well. I really like things like that. I hope to see more of that attention to detail, which in a few instances there are, and I do hope that that continues. By the time we're coming around to the end of episode 3 and into episode 4, I noticed that they're growing closer to each other, and it is well portrayed. It looks real. I like how it's done. I like how natural it is. It does seem natural. They're still slightly resistant. They're discussing things openly, going out for drinks, and you've got more of the flashbacks that show how actually they maybe didn't hate each other as much in school as they said they did, and that is beautiful. It's really well done. It's just that bit, that whole relationship, when it comes back in from school and you can see that it was already there, that knocked it up a peg. That was great. I love that they've done that. I think they did it incredibly well. The only thing I would say is that Nam Hanur can sometimes come across as a little bit fickle, and perhaps not the brightest bulb, which is a bit unrealistic given that she is this really well read, really well studied doctor. So I think that maybe just needs a little bit more thought into making her slightly more likable at times. You know, there are times she comes across as beautifully loyal and very nice. Let's take, for example, the bit where she's stayed up all night, 3 nights as it turns out, studying to get this court case to help him with, and then takes it into the court. And that is just a fantastic show of how she feels and what she's going to do and what she's willing to do to support her friend, which was just beautiful, breathtaking situation. And I really did think that was a lovely scene. I will say that the evidence she brought was kind of feeble at best, but for those people who aren't particularly medically trained, it's good. I think sometimes, as with anything, if you work in the profession, you watch any kind of show to do with it, you will notice holes in it. Let's just take the way that K-dramas and any drama does CPR. Don't even get me started. But, you know, for the sake of the actual storyline, it was a lovely thing to do, lovely gesture, and I really enjoyed it. Can I just ask, what did everybody think of that little flashback scene where there were still teens and he caught her on the chair because she was just getting the fan and then she slipped and she fell back into his arms. Oh, it's the romantic scene, but then he just dropped her. That was fantastic. That was so real. It's just exactly how a teenager would respond. I thought that was really good. But then my favourite part about that is how later on you find out he'd been recording the lessons for her and helping her. Oh, that was just the sweetest thing. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but it was so sweet. It's just definitely forgivable. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of that scene. I thought it was fantastic. The final thoughts, I think that there was less of the focus on the outfits in this drama, which I loved. More focus on the scenery, less focus on the outfits. Just brought in some really nice kind of realism to it. You know, there wasn't as much focus on everybody being rich, having all the nice belongings, whatever. It was just nice shots of Korea, and it was stunning to watch. It was much more real. The whole thing has a very real feel to it, which I love. They do mention more than once that it is not like the movies, which in the first mention is absolutely correct. It's great. It's a nice way to bring in a bit of realism, but then when it keeps getting mentioned, it kind of comes across like it's throwing it in your face a little bit. And then maybe it would be better to kind of come away from it just slightly and maybe make it a little bit more real by not mentioning it so much. So overall, I'm going to give this drama an 8 out of 10 as of yet. It's romantic, it's pretty, you know, aesthetically pleasing, it has good acting, it has great plot twists. Overall, I think it's a good watch, and I think you should watch that drama and then come back for the review of the 5th episode with me, and we'll go through that together. Maybe leave me a few comments, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Am I right? Tell me what you think. Now, before I go, I just want to add a quick thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more reviews. I'm also going to be doing some more things on generally K-culture, so K-pop, K-fashion, K-news, anything that you can think of like that. I'd love to cover it. Again, please send me some messages, send me some comments, let me know what kind of things you'd like me to cover. So I hope you'll join me. Until next time.